I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBM, we're talking about healthy aging, longevity, and real world anti aging habits with a terrific author by the name of Sandra Diane Newton. And she is out with a powerful and empowering book. It is called Youthing, The Art of Staying Young: Simple Secrets to Staying Vibrant in Body, Mind, and Spirit. If you want more energy, a sharper mind, and a stronger body, this book and this conversation is packed with wellness tips, movement, nutrition, and mindset strategies you can start today. Get ready for youthing ideas to help you feel vibrant in body, mind, and spirit, no matter your age. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Sandra, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm
It's an
happy to
honor
be
to
here.
have you on the show. You've done such great work with this book. The America's getting older, the population's getting older. I like to think 60 is the new 45. Maybe that would be good, or
That's
maybe even
right.
40. What's your number one go-to habit or tip to folks for staying younger? What would you say your number one bit of advice would be?
To love your life,
Hmm.
to love your life, to love yourself, and to love your life. Create a life that you love, that you are passionate about.
Hmm. Absolutely. Purpose is a big part of it. And I think that's what you're getting at. You have to have a purpose in
Purpose.
life, and
Absolutely.
a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to eat right, a reason to stay healthy, and a reason to stay on target. We hear a lot about eating right. How important, if you want to slow down the aging process as much as possible, how important is eating a proper diet?
I think eating green, eating a proper diet is definitely important, as well as taking supplements and exercising. But the interesting thing, I did quite a bit of research on the blue zones where people around the world live to be over 100 years old.
Mhm.
And some of those individuals, they drank alcohol, some smoked, some were vegans, some ate meat. But the number one thing that they all had in common was they felt like they were part of a community
Mhm.
and they loved their life. They felt like they had purpose and their work, whatever their work was, it was important to them.
Yeah.
And that seemed to be the number one factor with all the communities around the world.
Exactly. And you mentioned in community, social connection is truly important as well, right? To have people
Definitely.
to talk to of all ages, intergenerational social connections, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Movement is important too. Talk to us about movement versus exercise and keeping our body going strong.
Yeah, well, that's interesting you mentioned that because in these blue communities, they were constantly moving. They were moving all the time, not necessarily exercising, but walking, bending over, just constantly in movement. So I think movement is very, very important for the body,
Yeah.
for
You
energy.
mentioned, I think so too. I think exercise is great,
I do
but I
too.
don't think we should overdo it. I mean, I
Hmm.
think a lot of people go crazy with exercise and they wind up hurting themselves. You
They
know, our
do.
knees can't take it, our hips can't take it, and our backs can't take it as you get older. The pounding of running, for example. So get
Right.
on the elliptical. That's what I do because there's low or no impact. I
Hmm.
walk a lot,
I do
um,
too.
and and stand as much as possible. I get out from this desk and I stand up just to make sure the blood is flowing. And I think
Going
that's
right.
important. Yeah, without a
Very.
doubt. Talk to us a little bit about supplements. You talked to us about that briefly before, but what type of supplements should folks at home be looking at?
Well, I think for me personally, the number one is vitamin C. I don't think you can take too much vitamin C because vitamin C, it isn't stored in your body like vitamin A, for example. And then CoQ10. I think CoQ10 is very important. NAC is very important. And I can go on and on and on.
Right,
I,
right.
yeah,
So
I
those are,
take a
but
lot.
those are the key vitamins, vitamin
Those are the,
C's, NACs.
oh, and magnesium,
Yeah,
especially magnesium. Yeah,
yeah. Magnesium will help you sleep well as well and help with
yeah.
regularity. Sleeping is something that more and more experts are looking at. What's your view on sleeping?
Well, I think sleeping is very important, and I recommend, if possible, about 8 hours of sleep a night. I personally only sleep about 5 or 6 hours a night, and that seems to work fine for me. But overall, I would say if a person can sleep about 8 hours, great.
Yeah,
That way their body can heal, it can, regenerate.
right. And I think also sleep, they say, is very restorative to the brain, where your brain
Absolutely.
is basically reorganizing much like a hard drive on a computer. Talk to us about keeping your mind sharp because people are living older. We see people living into their 80s and 90s and beyond, but there's a lot of dementia out there. So,
Yeah.
how can we stave that off?
Well, again, I think that we live in a very toxic world. Uh, the water that we drink, the food that we eat, and I, I personally think that people should be aware of what they're putting in their body, and mainly organic food.
Hmm.
And uh, people that live in the large cities probably should have some kind of water filtering system, and also the air that we breathe. I think that's important as well. I think we need to have some kind of air purification in our homes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And staying hydrated is
Right.
important.
Oh,
Our
especially
bodies are
staying
mostly
hydrated.
water. Talk to us about hydration.
Well, I think hydration is extremely important for good circulation, and that, of course, has a direct impact on the brain
Mhm.
ability to think and reason and remember. And if we're dehydrated, that's going to affect our mental process.
Mhm.
We might feel kind of sluggish, have a difficult time remembering, and drinking a lot of water can definitely benefit that area of our
Yeah.
life.
What are your thoughts on alcohol?
Well, I very seldom drink. Maybe once or twice a year, I'll have a glass of wine,
Hmm.
and that's about it. I'm not into alcohol at all.
Yeah.
I don't really. I have friends that drink,
Mm.
socially, and that's fine. Um, I don't really have any definite thoughts about that.
Yeah. I think the consensus from the medical community now is drinking any amount is actually bad. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, one or two a year is fine. But it's a carcinogen. It impacts the
right,
heart. It impacts the
absolutely,
liver. You're basically drinking a toxin which gets you intoxicated.
right.
And so people if at home who are watching or thinking about stopping the aging process, stopping drinking will go a long way for sure.
I agree.
What about the aches and pains of age? They keep people sometimes from doing all the movement that you speak about. Any advice for people who feel a little stiff or achy and what movement approach would help them
Well, I think Tai Chi
perhaps?
would be great for that. Tai Chi, I take Tai Chi or yoga. Yoga would be great. Also, there are two supplements I highly recommend for people that have arthritis or rheumatism. Boron.
Mhm.
Boron is great for that, and MSM. Those two supplements I highly recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. People are battling a lot nowadays with blood sugar. Even people of a normal body weight sometimes have elevated blood sugars. Any advice for people who are struggling? Perhaps they're pre-diabetic, or
Stay away from
even
sugar.
yeah,
Bottom line, stay away from sugar. Uh, There are alternatives such as stevia. Stevia is great, as a sugar replacement,
Mhm.
and it comes from a plant. It's natural, but I think sugar is probably the number one killer.
Hmm.
I really do.
Yeah, I think it's a secret killer too, because people don't realize it. They're
No, they
spiking their
don't.
blood sugar, they're causing inflammation in their bodies,
Hmm.
and it's
Definitely.
delicious. I mean, who doesn't like sweet stuff, you know?
Yeah.
You,
I know.
you realize smoking is bad for you, you realize drinking is bad for you, but sugar, you feel like, ah, come on, I can have
Yeah.
that brownie. Maybe
Well,
occasionally, maybe a small amount.
yeah, and there's so many alternatives. I wish more of the bakeries would start baking using stevia or monk fruit or erythritol, some alternative. Uh, that way people could eat, they could have cake, they could have pie, they could have cupcakes, whatever, without the sugar content.
Exactly, exactly. I think as awareness develops, that will happen.
Yeah,
I think you're seeing already in bars, you see a lot of non-alcoholic beers and even
sure.
non-alcoholic wines available. So I think eventually you'll get healthy bakery foods that don't have very much sugar or a sugar substitute that's acceptable, like stevia, as you mentioned, which is natural. What's your day like? How do you get started? How do you get going in the morning? How do you embrace day with the type of joy you feel your readers should embrace the day with?
Well, the first thing I do every morning, I drink a glass of warm water
Mhm.
with half of a lemon squeezed in the water. I drink that. And then I wait about a half an hour, and then I juice celery juice, and I put cayenne pepper in the celery juice, and I drink that. And then I drink a lot of water. I drink bone broth, and I only eat one meal a day. That's usually around 4 o'clock. And I will usually have salmon. I eat a lot of wild salmon and occasionally grass fed beef. And then vegetables, I'll have broccoli and some carrots and maybe a little salad, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're taking very highly nutritious foods, limiting the amount. And I find the same thing. As I get older, I need less and less food.
Yeah,
When I was a kid, geez, I could eat,
I know.
a bowl of cereal, a couple of eggs, some toast, some orange juice, coffee, and, the lunch, an entire pizza pie. But
Right.
as I get older, one, I don't digest the food that well.
Yeah.
I like to eat earlier rather than later when it comes to dinner to help with the digestion process. And I think you're right to eat highly nutritious, nutrient-packed food. And that's the way to go. And it looks like almost you're doing some form of intermittent fasting there by only having the
I
one
am.
meal a
Yeah.
day, right?
Yeah. And occasionally I will have kefir blended with blueberries, blackberries, raspberries.
That sounds great. I think I'm going to add that to my diet. That sounds great. Because right now I use almond milk, I use kale or spinach, and I use some berries and some nuts, and I make a smoothie once a day. But I like the idea of
Right.
kefir because that's really good for digestive health. And we're
Right.
learning our gut is so
Right.
important when it comes to our immune system right now. Well, this book is terrific. It is packed with the kind of advice you've heard today and much, much more. It's actually a roadmap to staying young, to staying healthy, and to staying vibrant, to staying alert as well. All very, very laudable goals indeed. The name of the book is Youthing, the Art of Staying Young, Simple Secrets to Staying Vibrant in Body, Mind, and Spirit. If you're ready to level up your wellness, energy, and healthy aging habits, this is a wonderful place to start. Sandra, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's been all mine. I appreciate your insight and your candor and the wonderful work you've done on this book. To the folks at
Thank
home,
you.
I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.